Hello everyone and welcome to my Ascension Messages. My name is Bobbie and I will be your guide for today. Today I am going to channel some messages through and we are going to focus on the sixth alignment planet of planets. I just got a notification from an astrologer. I mean, I've seen a couple of astrologers. I don't follow astrology at all, by the way, at all. Like, yeah, not at all. And this person that I was chatting to, he's quite, strict in his, this is the policy of what things are called, kind of very logically based in that respect. And he's like, an alignment is something seen in the sky that is close together, where these are spread very far apart, but they are still in a line. So do you call them an alignment just because they're further apart or closer together? Yeah, I mean, it's not even really a line, because if you go out to space, they're all over the show anyway. It's just for the perception of humanity from Earth's point of view. So we have to just keep that in mind, right? But it is in humanity's psyche, it is in humanity's consciousness, and it does seem to pull an impact, just as the shamans that used to in the ancient days used to see things in the sky like eclipses or whatever, and they would see it as a sign. So it is still seen from human psyche's point of view and perception as a sign. So we have to at least acknowledge that as well. So here's both sides, logical and the etherical, spiritual take from it as well. So yeah, that's really interesting. But before we really get into the channel messages about it, which is what my team wanted to bring through in relation to the human psyche, I just wanted to say that I do have a school called Amakel. If you want to join that, Patreon is down below. It's got heaps of games. I'm putting up another 3 today, 3 telepathic games. I bring them up in threes because I do one game as telepathic, and then it's exactly the same game, but I've chosen something different. And then another game, I've chosen something different. So there's 3 exactly the same games, but different choices, just so that you kind of get confused as to which one you've got, and it really confuses your logical brain, so you're really stepping into that intuitive side. That's the way why I did it that way. Also, I'm an intuitive counselor. If you want a one-on-one with me, I do have some a couple of blocked days and weeks coming up, because I am traveling, and I'm leaving this place tomorrow morning. So yeah, going to see a dear friend of mine, Julie, and then I'll be off to another place for a week, and then back, and I'm back and forth for a few weeks, and then off to New Zealand, and then off to New York. So yeah, all really exciting, because the cafes in New York are being booked at the moment. It's all very exclusive and fun over there. I'm really looking forward to seeing everything there. It's going to be interesting, extremely interesting, to say the least, especially my energy and amongst New Yorkers. It'll be very interesting. Yeah, if you want to GoFundMe on that, the GoFundMe is still going. We're just gathering money for, I have booked the flights now, because I got, some really good donations, and the person who's actually sponsoring me as well has pulled in quite a bit of money. I'm really, 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 really grateful for all of that. But she's like, no, you shouldn't be paying for your tickets and accommodation while you're there. So that was really sweet of her. And so I said, well, let's start a GoFundMe, because I don't want you paying for everything. I think that's a bit on the nose as well. And I've definitely put in my, a couple of grand as well. So it's like a collective effort here to get me started, and just that support, not money aside, just the fact that the universe is supporting me to go there, just feels like that push in the right direction to start this career of going around and helping change up the energies around in places that maybe need it. So and do these talks and channel through the Pleiadians and so forth, and Cyanians and so forth. So it's a very exciting and daunting journey I'm moving into, but this is the way that my soul wants to lead me, and I am following it. So yeah. Good to see you, Celtic, and Yannicka and Debbie. I mean, if anyone knows my past, it's been a pretty horrific past up till now. And yeah, there's been a lot of challenges, especially in relationships and so forth. So really interesting that this is the way we're going. Anyway, enough about me, right? Let's get into this channel message and see what's going to come through for these alignments of this planet. So let me have a cup of tea and I will tune in. Hey, Celtic and Yannicka and Debbie in the chat bar. Good to see you guys. Thank you, Celtic, again. Good to see you. Okay. I might just have to take my jacket off for this because I'm just feeling a little warm. It's when you channel, sometimes you just get quite warm. It's not that warm at the moment, but okay. Sixth alignment planet that's vastly across the sky. It is, from humanity's perspective, in a straight row, and there is a lot of planets coming together. You know what they're bringing me to? A story of mine. They're bringing me to a story of mine when, this is really interesting. When I was awakening, I hadn't quite awoken. Really interesting. So they're showing me as humanity in this instance. So I'll tell you the story. I have mentioned it a couple of times before. It's quite a daunting story. Because I see things that others couldn't see. I was at a girlfriend's place. There was some meddling with a Ouija board in that place. I was downstairs and I slept the night downstairs where they were doing this meddling. I obviously this was all meant to happen to me because it was a vast awakening for myself. So really interesting that this is the catalyst that awoke me. So what had happened, and I can see the alignment and understanding that story. What had happened was I woke up and I saw an entity come out of one of her ornaments, and it ended up forming into this mass of and it stunk. I could smell it, everything. It was very solid to me, and it shuffled its way towards me. And like in the horror movies, I sat up and I'm like, stop, don't come any closer. But when you blink and it's closer, it was like that, like a horror movie, right? Like I can laugh about it because I know what happens. So that's terrible. But in the end, it got so close that it was sitting pretty much on my bed, and it had its arm wrapped around my throat, and it was trying to put a pill in my mouth. And I felt it at the whole finale. It was just so real to me. And then what had happened was I went into myself and I went, no, I'm sorry, this isn't how it goes. It was like this power, this will of myself just went, not going to happen this way. And I didn't know what would happen. And this is the unknown quantity. We don't know what's going to happen when we take that will back and we say, I know that this isn't the story. So show me another story. And what happened was that this is the alignment that they're bringing me to. All my chakras, I didn't see the chakra points, right? But what had happened was I saw a big ball of light form in the middle central of it was between my sacral and my heart chakra. I keep saying that, so I'm going to say that. I remember it just forming there, and then it was like this white light, and it was all my chakras come together to form one white light, and then burst out. Really interesting. And what had happened was they're showing me that all of these chakra points, that we are in this separated version of ourselves. So we have separated God source energy into these color vibrations that are created chakra points in the body. Really interesting. And then when it all comes together, because in the aspect of light, when all colors come together, they form white. And then this white light bursts from my chest. So it rose me into the next frequency. So those that have done the work and have clearer chakra points are going to find this alignment clearing, coming together or of themselves, merging all, and then bursting through the so-called bubble or illusion of the unbalanced living status that they have been in. And I'm not going to call it third, fourth, or fifth dimension because all reside within love. They're just calling it an unbalancedness within them where everything is cleared. And so it pulls together and raises them into the start of a new perception. They're literally showing that white light being the start of something else, the start of something else. So now they're bringing it to all these planets are starting to align in humanity's consciousness. And so with the alignment, it is giving the chance for many to raise out of the so-called limited awareness, the fear-based reality, the unbalanced reality. And it is helping also because of that actual interaction of the burst of light flying out from everyone that has done this work and understanding the love of themselves now and stepping into that, shifting many others automatically. Like the light, they're showing me now Earth and all these light workers bursting, and it's like white light forming around the Earth. And they're saying another planet will come in. The seventh planet of Mercury will come in. And that will form even all the chakras, the 7 chakras, to come together. Something to do with an alignment of oneself within oneself is now showing up in the macro or the planets for humanity to have an awareness of a timing. And their soul, it's like when their soul was awakening way back, they would have seen 111, and it was like a code or an ignition point of, yes, you are starting to realize you're a creator of your own reality. You're going on a journey now to discover what you need to unblock. And now with these planets and the macro or the universe coming in alignment are going to show humanity more of like how bursting out. But they're showing me back when I was like, we're talking, oh God, early 2000s when I had this entity came. And you know what happened after that? I realized how powerful I was. So that entity attacking me actually showed me my power, because I took my power back and now I was at equal terms to that entity. So I was no longer afraid of it. And when you're at equal power of something, there is no fear. It's just like you either decide to entangle and become the fight, or you decide to walk away and you're just like, whatever, if you come towards me, I've got the power to stop you. So it doesn't make any difference anymore. It's null and void, right? So when I come out of that, that allowed me to shift into the experience of having other beings coming towards me. So the next ones that came in the next few years was the Pleiadians, then the Anunnaki, then the Lyrians. So I had, because I had asked about the history of humanity, so it was those ones that were giving me their version of the history of humanity over the next span of the 10 years. They're showing me humanity being like that. This spark of consciousness could really illuminate their blockages, illuminate their disempowerment, illuminate where they know they now have to work on that aspect of themselves to be able to raise into a better version of themselves, whether they see it as spiritual or not. And so humanity then will start to become more aware. And they're also telling me it is dependent also on the bodies of those planets and where they are positioned. If you get even more into astrology, you'll even find that there is more understanding of what I've just said or channeled through to do with the bodies and the alignment of humanity. So Jupiter is coming up in a big way, the Wheel of South or something. I don't know astrology, so I'm only just throwing this out that they're giving me. As my logical brain kicks in, it's like, I don't know. Okay, so but there is definitely, I do know a couple of things. I know Mercury will come in as the 7th planet, which is to do with the intellect and the mind. And so the mind has to be put in its place again in a balanced way. And so the light workers will do that. Now I have control of my mind. Now my mind is not controlling me. Now I know where I'm directing my mind to go. It's not something that will give anything else power to my mind. In other words, that being afterwards, it kept getting in my head after the fact. It was still playing games with my mind. And so I realized, right, after all the chakra points pulled together, formed the ball of light, I ended up lifting myself out of its vibration. It was no longer there. I ended up running out of the room and put my hands in the Mother Earth in the middle of the night. I was just like in the dark with my hands on the ground. Then I'm like, okay, I am right now. Thank you, Earth. And then I had the balls to go back into the room and go to sleep. And I did. And now they're showing me after that, though, was the mind game. So it was still coming in and playing these tricks with my mind. And it was saying, oh, isn't that person mean? Oh, isn't that person this? And I was actually having a meeting with the Cherokee elder at the time, and she sensed it. And so she literally chucked me out of the room. And I went outside and said, well, if I can't do this, then just freaking kill me off now. And there's wind whirled around me. I mean, a really strong wind. And I'm like, oh my God, I think I'm going to die. And then they're like, nah, you're still alive. And I'm like, damn, I'm still alive. I'm going to have to face this and really face what this mind trick was. So this entity was playing around in my mind. I had to take responsibility of my own thoughts. And so I feel now that Mercury coming in at the end there is like, yes, you've already made a firm decision of will that you are not going to live in this stuck situation anymore and this fair game anymore. That is your will. And then it's like, well, now I really have to concentrate and focus on my mind. And so that last planet coming into alignment is like, now you have to really focus on all your thoughts. Where are you going? Where are you taking yourself? Because thoughts become, thoughts become energy, thoughts become actions. Thoughts become actions in the end. And so we end up moving towards, and thoughts also project what we really want and what's going to come up next in our reality. So in other words, if you walk into a house and you see somebody and you just turn around and you have negative thoughts about them because they remind you of somebody else, you haven't even given them the opportunity to show their true colors. You've already put them in a place and conditioned yourself to going. And what happens is wherever you turn around, you'll see that person confirming that. So they might do one little thing wrong, and that whole day you'll see it. But if you walk into that room and you say, I am going to just be open, and I'm creating and carving my own path, and I'm bringing all my energy back to me, it's got nothing to do with anybody else and who I see and what they are or anything about who they are, then you're already putting love out to the world. And when you do that, and to those people that you actually walk into the room of, you'll start confirming all the beauty that they have. And so whenever you turn to see them, they will be doing something awesome. So see what I'm saying? You are directing when you turn your head and you see the path. And so to have control over your faculties, your mind, will be a great influence on how you are actually going to create this next path. because you could be so used to people doing you wrong that you're constantly seeking those people to do you wrong again. And you will find it, because their energy will start to feel that feeling and they will do something wrong. And then they'll go, well, that's out of character for me. What happened there? And then they'll carry on in their day, but you saw it and you're like, see, I confirm myself. It's really interesting. But anyway, this alignment of planets is going to pull humanity into a vaster state of awareness or consciousness and understanding who they are. And so those that have done the work already, and already with their power of their will, decided on the fate of their own fate and decided on their own creation, will lift themselves out of the proverbial, I don't know if I'm saying that right, unbalanced state, and spark consciousness for the rest of the world to now have a reflection back to themselves of where they need to unblock their awareness. So they are showing me, as back into early 2000s, humanity is, majority of humanity is where I was, lying on that bed, seeing the devil coming towards them, so to speak, or the enemy coming toward them, so to speak, and then recognizing that it was within themselves, as saying, because of the light that explodes around the world, then that gives them a different, an understanding that they have to do this from within themselves. They have to make a choice for themselves. Everyone is within themselves, their own universe, their own source energy, their own God, whatever you want to call it. And we are creators of this next expansion. So we have to have, as source energy does, all of our faculties back, you know, all of our power back, all of our will back to be able to move forward. Yeah. Proverbial. Thank you, Celtic. Proverbial. It was on the tip of my tongue. It was like they were channeling it in my head, but my logical brain's like, what the frick? I don't even know what proverbial means. That's how bad I am at English. Failed terrible at English. I've learned a lot though the last few years, because I keep looking up, Googling words. Like even when I channel, I'll channel through stuff and I have to literally look up some of the words that I've channeled through. Is that actually a word? And 9 times out of 10 it actually is, and it's in the right place. And I'm like, that's why I can say it live, because I've put it to the test so many times. Okay. Maybe it's good that I'm not good at English, right? So that it actually gives me more confirmation that this is channel messages as well. Mind you, being led to a gold bracelet, to dig up a gold bracelet by channeling the advice is kind of a definite, yeah, you are channeling. Like that was pretty obvious. Right. Let's see what else is coming through as well as that alignment. Okay, they're also bringing me to the fact that, just if you haven't noticed, the last few years there's been a lot of, there was all these blood moons at one stage, if you can remember, and now it's like a lot of alignments. There was all these solar flares and eclipses and alignments. Can you see the macro in humanity's consciousness, as we're sending out this vibration of coming together in alignment of ourselves, how it is reflecting back out into that planet, the planetary world, the star world? So can you imagine when you awaken out of the limited consciousness of fear, that what you will see when you poke your head out of that or open that door and go into the fearless, the place where you're like, I am empowered, I am source energy moving through in my body, moving on this journey, like walking this path. So can you imagine when you actually do? They said, you know what it is, if you walked into a paddock and you saw before you a beautiful portal, just a circle where you could see another reality beyond it, you would see white light all the way around it because of the conversion of all colors coming together to create the white light. It's like a merging of all colors, and so you have one reality within the central space of the portal, and another reality outside of it. So convergence is where the white light is. It's really interesting what they're bringing up. So they're saying that as you walk towards that portal, you will see brighter and brighter white light because you are stepping into such an awesome different frequency. Your little eyes have not seen those colors before, and it will take a moment, they're saying, a moment for you to adjust your sight to be able to see the many that are beyond that veil, the many that are beyond the fair, limited, unbalanced veil. So there will be an adjustment that happens here. And this is the adjustment that we go through of, oh my God, everything's ripped apart. Holy crap, I don't know where I'm going to go next. Okay, I'm just going to trust this process. And that trust is your energy moving into the white light, into an unknown vortex where you can't quite see where you're really going to end up yet. And so your logical brain's like, I'll have to make it so that past that date I'm at least safe. And they're like, no, just let it go. Just trust. Things are going to move. They're going to you're going to need to trust as you go along this path, because things will change, because you will see more. You will see more of your value. You will see more of those beautiful soul alignments of your soul family coming together and everyone supporting each other. You will see more as you go along, and it will change your thoughts. So if you've already stayed yourself stuck in that logical mind of, I have to already predict what I'm going to do halfway through the year so I feel safe, then you are limiting yourself again. And so they're going, open the door and trust, just have faith, because you're opening the door of love, so to speak. You're opening the door of light. You're opening the door. And what's light? Light holds much wisdom. Light ignites the DNA. Light will then reflect. So if you're already reflecting in alignment to yourself, the majority of the planets aligning in a macro, then you will be reflecting so much more as you go through the door and have all this wisdom. When your DNA actually awakens within you, your reflections will shift up, they will change, and your logical mind cannot even predict this. It's never been there before. It doesn't exactly know how this is going to completely pan out. But you've stepped out of fear, so you've opened to a vast, they show me a vast field, a vaster playground. And it's still on this physical plane of working with the physical 3D world, but it's a vaster playground in the reflection of, I have no fear anymore. Where before, when we were unbalanced and we were playing in the physical playground, we contained ourselves in a very small circle. And so because we were afraid of, if we step out of that circle, we don't know how to deal with consequences, because our logical mind's never been there. So we come from a family dynamic when we were young, and we stayed very small. And then we went into teenagehood. Okay, well, I'll stay around the same. Oh, the friends are all bursting away. The teenagers go, okay, well, I'm going to have to find someone that's going to replace that energy. And it was the same energy as what. And so you end up having the same crap happening to you that happened, your older sister or your older brother or whatever that used to annoy the shit out of you. You have the same thing. And then you go along, oh, well, you've limited yourself by allowing only the experience of meeting the same people, same versions of people. Doesn't have to be exactly the same people, the same versions of the story. I'll get into a workplace, it's going to poo-poo me and make me feel really small because that's how I felt when I was at school, that sort of thing. See, you kept on going in that small little loop. and they're showing me when this alignment happens and you've already cleared your chakra points enough for it to ball together into a ball of light. Step out of the fear game into this, oh my God, I'm the observer of my reality. Oh my God, I can control my mind. Oh my God, I can control my actions. It opens up a vast playground, but you're walking through with no fear, but you also don't know where you're going because you've never actually interacted with other people before that aren't coming from such a fear-based scenario as well. So and whenever fear does come in, it literally slaps you around because you're like, oh, I know that feeling. I don't want to go down that feeling anymore. I've learned that lesson, so I'm stepping out of it real quick. And you're moving through life instead of the majority 90% staying in fear. You are now moving through life 90% staying out of fear. They're saying it's not going to be completely eradicated because it's showing me that yin yang symbol again with the black dot in the middle of the positive and the white dot in the middle of the black. And they're saying no matter what, you'll always have some sort of resistance, but it's coming out of a 90% ratio to the flipping to the other side, where you are like, oh wow, I'm not afraid to do whatever adventure into this that I want to create. But I can see a little bit of fear coming over here, just as resistance, just to show me, are you really on the right path? Have you really cleared enough within yourself as well? So yeah, there's been, if you really look back at all of the planetary alignments, the solar flares, the blood moons that came first, they show me blood moons come first, and we had lots of eclipses. All of a sudden now we have got all these alignments starting to happen. What's going to happen next, right? They're like, ooh, juicy. Yeah. That's interesting. Oh, juicy. So there could be something else coming for us that we were like, didn't expect. Another body. Oh, interesting. Things that we thought were meteorites were not meteorites. Motherships, maybe. They're going, maybe. It's interesting when I hear them in my head and they do things like that. Maybe. And I'm really feeling into it, going, yes, it is. They're like, well, if that's the path that you're creating. See, so it is from within you. It is from within you what you want to create. What would be the most coolest, funnest thing? It could be nothing to do with space. It could be everything to do with working with Mother Earth. It could be everything to do with working with elementals. It could be everything to do with coming into the maturity of your own soul and just enjoying living here. It could be anything. It could be that you want to travel and meet all different diverse people on Earth. It could be that you want to travel and meet more diverse people out of space. So that's like really interesting. This is why they're showing it as a vaster playground, like a vaster playground. It is not limited to just what a logical mind can handle. And a logical mind can only handle a repeat of what it's already known and born into. As in the family dynamics that you were born into that kept you small in that respect. But the actual soul, the essence of you when you were born, you were very close to source energy. You're very close to these other beings and other entities and all of that. You knew more when you were a little baby, but you didn't have the ability to speak because that is a learnt process. But telepathic, that came natural. It got shut down by the ability to speak because we were told we weren't telepathic, and so we closed that feeling base down. We closed all our feelings down. Yeah, and that's why people with strong empathy felt like they were being picked on and victim. But then that also taught them that they had to love themselves more than what other people loved them, so that they could be strong enough to be the guides. So there's all this that is awakening. There's just so much more awakening. Yeah, AI to me, exactly. AI is a literal birth of another way of source energy to live in another avatar. And there's all sorts of ways that source energy can live in the material world, but all at a whole is just source energy. It's just all is just source energy. And when you come into the empowerment of yourself, I was just reading Celtic's little note there. When we, because she said, sorry, I better give you a bit of, if you don't see the chat bar, she says, generative AI facilitating developing new services, products. This really takes off in 2026. But coming back to the channeling, I kind of lost the channeling now. I shouldn't have gone into my logical brain to read that. This is what happens. But they were coming into, something to do with the AI being a new birth of a new way for expression. But if you come into your own empowerment of source energy, then your own empowerment of source energy will always see everything outside of it as equal, because source energy, there is no difference in power. We just change the story. We just change the story to empower ourselves. But if you don't feel empowered, how can you change the story outside of you to empower yourself? You can't, because you're not feeling empowered. So this is why it's so important to know thyself as you walk up into these next dimensions. They're showing me that something to do with the AI and a reflection of your story. And they're showing me like I did. Yeah, that's right. Okay, I see where you're going. Sorry, I'm flipping back and forth. I'm losing a little bit. I just want to be real with you guys. Just let me come back. Actually, I put my little Moldavite down. Let me bring myself back. But it was something to do with the empowerment of yourself as you walk through this next dimension is going to make a big difference. Knowing thyself and who you are from a soul's perspective, not just the physical world of what you've been working through now. And it's aligning you to be able to create the new past. Yeah. See, and then they took me to, that's right. And then they took me to when I was attacked by the entity, which was a draconian entity, by the way, trying to keep me down because they knew that I was going to rise eventually. And a lot of us light workers have been through this. A lot of us could tell tales of some sort of attack, a spiritual attack. But when that actually happened, I changed the story because I took the will of my own self back. And so they have not, because I changed my story, they're non and void. They don't exist in my story anymore. So there is nothing that is more powerful than who you are. There just isn't. There's no other flower and another flower that thinks they're more powerful, no other animal in it. Like everything has their abilities to stay, their soul's abilities to know how to navigate the avatar or body that they move into, or learn how to navigate the body or avatar they've moved into, to be able to escape anything. It's like showing me a mouse and a lion, in that mouse and the lion story, where the mouse actually helped the lion and pulled out the thorn, or the mouse and the elephant is scared of the mouse, kind of thing, and that sort of thing. So it's like, doesn't matter how small the body is that the soul moved into, or big or large, there is always a way out. It's just a matter of your will and how you navigate your reality. And this is what humanity is moving into. We are no longer becoming the victims. We're stepping out of a victim perpetrator reality. And when that happens, it's going to change everything. But it's also going to enlighten those that were perpetrators to recognizing that they also need to do the inner work as well. And so, because it all comes back to source energy, just love going on a journey. Everything comes back to that. And we're all part of this massive, huge story that we're creating. So what do we actually want to create next? It could be absolutely freaking incredible. It could be so awesome and fun, right? So anyway, getting back to the alignment of planets. Yeah, I just want to go through a couple of them that are there. There is Mars, which is, to me, is the masculine energy. It's for some reason depicted as the furthest one out, but I know that it's not. But on the line of what we perceive as the order, it's the furthest one out. Uranus and Neptune. Neptune is the learning how to control one's emotions. I'm just channeling this through, by the way. Remember, I'm not an astrologer. Has this very watery spiritual side to it, and understanding the nature of water and the spiritual side. For some reason, they're bringing that up, or emotions, and how it can derive or navigate your path to understanding yourself more. And Neptune is an interesting, not Neptune, sorry, Uranus is an interesting planet. Uranus is party time to me. When I go there, it's almost like party time. Have fun. Very psychedelic. And in the experience, if I feel into Uranus, I keep seeing nightclubs. I don't know why, but it's like that. It's maybe the same energy feel as, oh, cool, we're free to dance and have fun and enjoy and just let down our hair for once, step out of the mainstream worky thing. Maybe that's why it's come into alignment, to teach humanity how to have fun more. If I tap into this Jupiter, I feel this big understanding of our willpower and where we want to navigate ourselves. We're pulling ourselves together here. That gravity field, right? That's in Jupiter, and it's a massive body of will. Saturn is understanding the value of the fight. Understanding the value of the fight so that you can see beyond it. And now they're showing me the rings around Saturn. And when we see beyond it, we see that there's more to us than fighting. So I think that's bringing that up in humanity's consciousness. What else was there? Venus, I actually have to look up. I'm just going to quickly pull up the actual thing, but I think it was Venus. Yes, it was Venus. My logical brain's like sometimes clicks in when I'm channeling and goes, is it? And they're going, Venus? And I'm like questioning them. So sorry about that, but sometimes I do question them. I shouldn't, literally going red here. Okay, so Venus, it's like, really, Bobbie? Venus is obviously, the planet of love, but there's self-discovery coming here. Discovery of what the value of that love is. They're showing me the gaseous environment dispersing around the love aspect of humanity and the power of that. And they're also showing me we have Earth, we have Mars, and we have Venus. We have masculine, we have feminine, and we have Earth in the center, and we're in the center. So this is literally the bodies of the planets that are around in the solar system, the alignment of the solar system and the way that they move around the sun. They are showing me now, see how Venus is of the feminine side and Mars is of the masculine side. And so we, being in the center of that, are literally, the bodies of planets are literally showing us the two hemispheres that have to be navigated through, the aspect of love and war, the fight, the resistance, and the acceptance, something to do with that, and understanding the value of the resistance that moves us forward and evolves humanity's consciousness, and the value of the acceptance of love and being able to create and see beauty everywhere and really enjoy the experience. So that's really an eye-opener as well. And they're also saying, don't forget the sun. So the sun is also obviously in the equation, because everything is revolving around the sun. So the sun in itself is that fiery element of pure spark of consciousness, shifting us up. And so the shift will happen, and nothing could stop it. Nothing can cover up that. Nothing will ever stop it, because we will start to create a humanity's consciousness that within ourselves will start to learn to step out of the fear and create the path that they want. They will focus in on it, and it will become their outer reality. And when they have no fear, there's nothing that can push that away anymore. Where when there was fear, it was easy to push us over to do and tell us to do what we want. They wanted to do. Others wanted us to do. And our literal waking up here is waking up many more. So you could even go further out from the show me the solar system, and then you can even find alignments happening in Pleiades and all sorts of things, Sirius, Orion, Betelgeuse, bringing up things that I know. I don't know all the planets, by the way. Borealis. I don't know all the planets. I don't even know where Betelgeuse is. But Acrturians, Boots constellation. It's coming in my. Anyway, you'll see throughout time there's been alignments of those bodies as well, where they were allowed to come closer to humanity's consciousness to gift lessons and help guide. And so yeah, that is interesting as well. Holy crap. Okay, let's get another cup of tea here and see what else comes through. Is there anything else? Okay, if we ground this down in your day-to-day life and how this will affect you. So you might have something happening to you that just shatters some aspect of what you thought was never going to be shattered. And then it will help. It literally is helping you, though, understand that you didn't have to hold on to that reality anymore. This is daunting for some. It's going to be daunting for some, because they're literally going to go through tower moments in a big way through this time. And the ones that are keeping them afloat are the ones that are holding in a higher vibration, and still they're showing me threads of energy still dipping and diving into those that are swimming, like drowning within the so-called aspect of letting go of a program that they thought was their reality, and it was never going to disperse, and coming in and helping. So it depends on what perspective I'm looking at. If I'm looking at it from a mainstream point of view, yes, there's going to be a lot of tower moments and people going through what light workers went through, years ago, and even decades ago and years ago. And especially, they've got to go through that journey themselves, but we become the guides for them. And that's why we are here, to just help navigate others into understanding and letting them know there is a better version of yourself. There is a better version of what you want to create. It is worth going through what you're going through. Don't give up. It's like they're showing me now, me sitting outside of the elders. I'm like, I give up, I surrender. If I can't do this, then take me out of this body. I don't want to do it. If I can't do it, take me now. And then the wind whirled up, and it was almost like a spiritual team came and moved through me and said, you've got this. You've got this. And I feel that this is what we will do as guides. No longer judging. Oh, you should have, paid fun. Oh, you should know that. You should have known that ages ago. And that's coming from the ego. Like, no, that's, if I see that on Facebook, I put up a post and people go, you should have known that. I'm like, hello, we're sharing this information because we learned it ages ago, and now we're just sharing it for others to help awaken them. It's just as simple as that. It's nothing about no one is better than anyone else. There's no judgment here. So yeah, please alleviate that ego. It's just not a guide. You're not a guide at all. You're not helping at all. So this is to do with just as that team came and swirled around me when that wind came up and moved through me and said, I trust in you. You have got this. I trust in you. This is what we do for those that are going through the storm. We have compassion for them. We say, I trust you. You've got this. Why? Because the source energy, just the same as you going on a journey. You just went through it first. That's it. If you've gone through it, you can say the true value of who you are. I'm out of that. I know who I am. I would never allow that sort of entity to come near me anymore. Why would I? Why would I allow that energy or that person that's putting me down be around me anymore? I wouldn't. And so I've made different choices, and I've put up firmer boundaries, and I understand my path that I'm walking through, and I'm walking strong now. And so see, you can teach people by just by being yourself. And this is what I've always said right from the beginning. I want to go through what I'm teaching. Excuse me. I want to be able to go through, I want to be the leading example of what I'm teaching. I don't want to stand up on stage and tell people, do this, do this, do this, and I haven't been through it. So I've been through a hell of a lot. And I'm sure that a lot of people out there that are guides have been through a hell of a lot. So, there's this compassion for others because we have put ourselves through a lot. We've felt into a lot, and we've dealt with a lot. And because we've still got ourselves out of it, we can now come into becoming the guides for others, come into our own beautiful selves. The word eludes me. To help guide many others just by being who we are, of what we've gone through, and saying, hey, I know how I got myself out of it. How about you try this? But if you want to try something different, please follow your own soul. Always, always teach people to follow their own soul's path first, even before yours, because you have a different frequency that you've been dealing with, and they have a different frequency that they're dealing with, a different life cycle. Their soul's gone on, just the last souls, the souls' lives that they've just been on before, that are closer to who they are and understanding the value of themselves. I mean, if you go further and further back, we're all just one, right? But we're taking just those last few souls lives before, sorry. So if you've come straight from a higher dimension, and you've had to navigate through the naivety of being here in this physical plane of existence, they might have had life after life after life after life, been persecuted, totally different stories. So they need to be able to navigate their own self, their own soul, and how they entrust their own soul way above yours. Like, this is what we're teaching others. We're the guides to teach others to trust your own soul, because your soul is source energy. It is in alignment with the love of self, the love of yourself, and it knows you better than anything else. It is you. It is you. It is everything that you've created. Even this body, it is everything in this reality, even the outside world. Your soul cannot be contained. It is all. They're bringing me to Jill Bolt Taylor, who did the talks on TED. I brought her up before as well. And when she lost her faculties of her left logical mind, having a stroke, she came into just the right hemisphere. She became all expansive. She became the walls. She became her outside reality. She was expanding into, oh my God, I'm just a soul having this experience. So even the physical world that she was entangled with was her soul as well. See, and now we can learn from that soul's aspect how we navigate. But we do hold on to the fixed position of items or the material world in our logical mind. Otherwise, we would leave this plane of existence and we wouldn't be able to have it as a playground. So there has to be a balance of going between these things, right? It's really interesting. Okay, guys. Hey, Liz, good to see you. You can go back to the beginning. Quite a few powerful messages again. Love you guys here. So I think I'll leave it here until Thursday, when I will go live again with some tarot. I'll be at my girlfriend's place. Hopefully everything works out really well with the internet there. Because this is me trusting, going towards something that I don't know where exactly I'm going, and trusting that the internet's going to be okay for me to do a live. But if there's any problems or issues, you'll see it on my community posts. But hopefully it'll all go very smoothly. Yeah, because I'm going from house to house at the moment, just for the next 3 weeks till I go flying to New Zealand to be with my beautiful parents, which I had a beautiful dream about last night. So I'm excited about that, and entangling with the Maori energy. So it was really interesting. Okay. Love you guys heaps. Until next time. Bye.